Welcome back, WNST. Bro, we are at the Mall of America where Luke is trying to talk me into eating burgers and fries 24 hours a day. But I'm not going to gain that much weight here, Luke, right? The Catch a Lift Fun folks are here, and this guy is a former Terp. I bet if we opened our phones, we'd have about 50 people in common in our phone. I've never met you.
No.
Pete Koch joining us here, along with Jeremiah Montel, former U.S. Navy Marine veteran. And talk about changing bodies, minds, lives, all that stuff. Dude, I look at you. Are you in better shape than you were when you played in Maryland? I'm seriously now. Like, you're literally, you look like that guy who's that fitness guy who you look like you just turned 39. Well,
I appreciate you, Nestor. I do. No, a better spot. You know, the things, the requirements to play at the Division I level, and then of course the NFL. I'm humbled now by what I did because I'm 56 years old now, and I work out. You know, I give it a college try.
Once a week, I can see.
But it's a compliment to hear that the game takes its toll. So I work around some injuries, but the operative word there is keep working. You know, keep working out. Do the best you can, and more so than how it develops my physical body. I exercise. I go to the gym for my head, my mind, my emotional health.
Was that always the case?
No.
You know, I'm sure down at College Park in that era, there was some running around. The View was a good place, and like, oh yeah, right. I mean, I'm not speaking out of turn here and all that. And then you get in the league, and there's so many guys in the league. Brian Baldinger is one of my dear friends. He turned me on to hot yoga 20 years ago. I'm 49. I turned 50 this year as well, and you know. That has appealed to me. For some people, it's skiing. For some people, it's surfing. For some people, it's just pumping weights. But you got to do something, right? I mean, at some point, if you want to feel good or look good, there aren't many 56-year-old players that look like you do. But I am shocked at how many linemen. Matt Burke will be here later. He looks like you, but he played a completely different kind of. You know, there are guys. Baldinger was one of these. A lot of guys lose a lot of weight, and then you see other people like really going the wrong way. It doesn't feel like there's a middling when you're some 300-pound ex-jock and you're 40. You either have to work really hard and get it right, or the thing's going to go completely the other direction.
You know, I think that's a fair assessment. I just got to pick up the thread with the Baldinger brothers. I played with you.
You're Long Island, right?
Well, yeah, but I played with the Kansas City Chiefs with Richard and Gary.
Okay.
Well,
there's all Baldingers. I'm Brian. Brian's my guy.
They were at one point. They were just about ready to take over the NFL. I mean, what a talented group of guys, all ACC guys. And I think when it comes to physical fitness, really the approach is you pretty much. I don't want to scare people off, but you're all in or you're not. Pretty much, it's like you can't have half a baby.
You don't go on a diet.
Yeah.
Either it's a lifestyle or it's a fad, right? Well, I mean, I don't know what to call it. If you go work out for a month and lose 10 pounds and then don't go back anymore, you'll gain them back, and then you'll gain back 11 pounds.
And that's well stated. Because if you go to the gym and work out hard, but you don't repeat that behavior for another 5 or 6 days, you're going to get sore. And nobody wants to be sore over and over. But you know, if you go to the gym, you know, when you get sick, the doctor doesn't give you one gigantic 50-pound pill. He gives you a little pill, and he says, take one little pill every day. So that's medicine, and exercise is that medicine. It's medicine for your body physically, and it's medicine for your head mentally and emotionally.
Tell me about Jeremiah. You guys are doing the Catch a Lift Fund here. I want to make sure I'm paying respect to American heroes. What's going on? What a pleasure. Always good to have guys by. This is a great week to honor some vets and find out some stories. And behind every soldier, behind every one who served this, there's a story, a hell of a story. I mean, my father-in-law served in Vietnam, and there's a story there. But I guess in the modern era, you're trying to help folks.
Yeah, I am, and I've been able to align myself, or he rather introduced me to the Catch a Lift Fund. And this organization was something I gravitated to instantly and knew that it was something that I wanted to be associated with, Catch a Lift Fund. And I'm going to kick this thing over to Jeremiah right now. He's a former Marine and Navy combat veteran. And he's indoctrinated me because he has much more experience with this organization, but I do feel passionately about it.
For sure. My role with Catch a Lift after the Navy was my last tour of duty.
What year was that?
I was in the Marines from 99 to 03. I did the initial push into Iraq and Afghanistan, along with when the USS Koch was attacked. We responded to that and provided security for the recovery of that ship. And then I had a 5.5-year break of service after the Marine Corps. I struggled with drugs and alcohol, keeping jobs. I was a closed-off, angry person. And
many of your friends from battle probably were too, right?
Oh, we all are, yeah. And
there wasn't anybody you reached back to. And they're like, "Hey, I'm back in Iowa. Things are great." Right?
No,
I mean,
yeah.
it's just not.
It's the truth.
That's not the way you come back.
No, and then I wasn't making it in the civilian world, and I knew something had to change, so I went back into the Navy, and I was in the Navy from 2008 to 2013.
Is that easy to get back in?
It's actually harder to get back in the military than it is to get in the first place.
Okay.
Yeah. And so in the Navy, we did anti-piracy stuff. We did support for Iraq and Afghanistan again. And I was ultimately medically retired. And when I was medically retired, I took it hard because obviously with 2 services under my belt, service is very near and dear to me. And to be told that I could no longer serve again took my whole purpose away. It took the wind out of my sails. And I ultimately tried to commit suicide. Oh. I wound up in a VA mental institution, and that's when I was introduced to Catch a Lift. And they said, there's this nonprofit that gives gym memberships to wounded veterans. And I thought, yeah, that'll be cool. I was 320 pounds. I was on 15 different meds, and I was like, yeah, I could go to the gym. Totally.
So you gained all that weight, but where were you in 01 when you were serving the first time? What was your game weight like you are right now? Maybe 200 pounds?
Oh no, I was like 180 in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And so, I was introduced to Catch a Lift, and it wound up as soon as I started talking to the people at the home office in Timonium, I realized that it's much more than a gym membership. There's peer support. There's other veterans out there that were willing to talk to me in my time of need. There were civilians out there that really wanted to hear my story, not just lip service of like thank you, but like really wanting to get to know it and figure out how they could help me. And so in the 3 years that I've been with Catch a Lift, I've lost all the weight. I'm off all of my medications. I'm engaging with other veterans and helping them to lose their meds and weight. I've gotten my personal training certification. I've aligned myself with TRX to help bring a big name of fitness to our veterans. And now my main goal is having Catch a Lift as my platform is to provide information for people so they can figure out what's going on with us, figure out how to help, and then to
And this is for veterans of any kind?
For combat veterans.
Combat veterans.
And we're trying to build professionalism here now. We're trying to reintegrate into society, to have that sense of purpose again, to serve. And, people think in order to serve their country, they have to join the military, and that's absolutely not the truth. You can serve your country right here at home. You can volunteer your time with Catch a Lift to call veterans. I mean, in Timonium, at our home office, we always
My home office is in Timonium too.
We have vet outreaches, so you guys can come in, and it's an opportunity for people to actually get on the phone and call members at Catch a Lift and talk to them and say, "Hey, I'm Joe Schmo. I want to know your story," and that makes the world a difference because for so many years, me being isolated, I didn't think people cared. I didn't think people wanted to know my story. And 2, I didn't know how to tell my story. I didn't know how to articulate it. And so now that's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to model that for others and say, I'm not completely healed. I still have my issues. I still have my problems. But now I'm making strides in the right direction to live a better life, to be a better father and husband, and to be a better role model for my community.
Catch a Lift Fund enables post-911 wounded veterans all over the U.S. to recover and rehabilitate both physically and mentally, and they're in Timonium. Mm-hmm. How about that? CatchALiftFund.org. Pete's not in Timonium anymore, but via New York to the Terps, and then into the NFL with the Bengals and the Chiefs and the Raiders joining us as well. I mean, we get so many mutual friends with the Terps, so you still go back down and participate, do the...
That's the song, but not so much. I live in Los Angeles.
Come on, man. Old Terps.
No, I know. I live in Los Angeles. I don't get back to the East Coast very much. I follow the Terps religious out of some of the guys that I played football with and worked so hard and competed with.
What were your years? Give me the years again.
Yeah, so I was 80 to 83. So and just to make it really simple, I came out the same year as Boomer Esiason.
Right.
Yeah, it was good times. So we were ACC champs at that time.
So Boomer, O'Donnell, Gelbaugh, all kind of in there. Frank Reich was in there, obviously. The Miami games, all of that stuff, right?
That was that moment in time when the University of Maryland was a murderer's row of quarterbacks really all coached up, and I think all credit due to head coach Bobby Ross, who was a quarterback guru. It's interesting. I ended up, a couple years after I finished at the University of Maryland, I ended up with the Kansas City Chiefs. And when I got to the Chiefs, and got to know the team, one of the first questions that most of the guys wanted to know was, hey, you played football in college at Maryland, right? You played with our old running backs coach, Bobby Ross. He was by far probably the most popular assistant coach with the Kansas City Chiefs, and they loved him so much, but they didn't want to lose him, but they were happy to know that he was moving on to take the head coaching position. So I was a benefactor of, when I first got to the University of Maryland, Jerry Claiborne was the head coach, but he moved on, and then I was the benefactor of a truly outstanding, one of the most influential coaches that I had in my life, and that was Bobby Ross.
Well, he coached in the Super Bowl too.
Yes.
Yeah, later on. With
the San Diego Chargers. Very good.
Absolutely. Jeremiah Montel is here. Pete Koch is here. Terp, NFL veteran, and, of course, a U.S. veteran. Good to have you guys visit. I'm going to send everybody out to catchaliftfund.org, and it's right in Timonium as well. So how many years for Catch? When did it begin?
2010.
Okay, so it's almost a decade old. It's right around the corner from us. So, and I'm sure somebody out there on our Facebook or Twitter, I know those folks over there, so we're local, and that's good. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
You got it. It's all brought to you by our friends at Howard Bank, a relentless commitment to be the best at everything they do. Branches throughout Baltimore and Maryland. It is Howard Bank. Don't forget our ROFO rewards. Get out there, get your card on that. We're getting the coffee and the gas together as well. I am